A few points to mention. First and foremost, it's nice to see Deontay Wilder looking like he's with us this time, rather than last time. He looked like he was smoked out of his head. The last time I saw him, he didn't look like a guy that should have been in a boxing ring, in my opinion. But I told anyone who would listen that Joseph Parker had a great chance of beating Deontay Wilder. And some of the reasons why I said that Joseph Parker would beat Deontay Wilder were as follows. Let me turn my volume up. Were as follows. Number one, the fights that Deontay Wilder had against Tyson Fury took a lot out of him. That's a big man that is not only big enough but good enough to technically give Wilder a whole head of problems. Yes, Wilder was able to knock Fury down in 3 fights, 4 times in 3 fights. Yes, he did that, but he took a hell of a lot of punishment. Really, the second fight and the third fight is where he took the most punishment. And yeah, Fury took punishment as well, and we saw and we see that in the Usyk fight, where when Usyk actually did clip Fury properly, he was all over the place. And that's because you can't keep getting hit on the chin over and over again like the way Fury is getting hit, and going down and getting up and your body ballooning up and down in weight. So that's the first thing, the wear and tear on Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder had wear and tear on him before the Tyson Fury 3 fights. He had all those injuries, you remember, with the hand and all the other stuff. That's the first thing. The second thing, I don't care what anybody thinks. My personal opinion is, I don't think, in my opinion, that Malik Scott does anything for Deontay Wilder in terms of his boxing career. I don't. Deontay Wilder doesn't know, at this age, he does not know what is the best weight for him to be fighting at. Is it 220? Is it 215? Is it 218? Is it 225? What is the best weight for Deontay Wilder? If him and his coach, Malik Scott, do not know what Deontay Wilder's best weight is now, and the man is near the end of his career, and he still don't know what the best weight is, then I'm sorry, there's a problem here. Listen, Malik Scott's had a long time with Deontay Wilder, as far as I'm concerned, too long. And if the Parker fight was anything to go by, then Deontay Wilder is in big, big, big trouble. Let me tell you something now. When you look at the two fighters, Zhang and Wilder, Zhang has not got beat up in fights. Right? Not the way Wilder has. Knocked out, beat up, overpowered. You look at the fights with Fury, second and third fight. Once Fury starts pushing Wilder onto the back foot, doesn't know what to do. People say, oh yeah, well, he knocked up Robert Helenius. Robert Helenius ran at Wilder in complete fear. He ran at Wilder and he ran into something. Yeah? So people say, oh, Wilder's best weight's at 215. What are people saying his best weight's at 215? Yeah? When he got beat by Fury, they're saying, oh no, he's going to go up to 220, he'll be heavier. But I think, if you ask me about Deontay Wilder, speed is important and power is important, but sticking to a game plan is more important than the speed and the power. Because if you don't stick to a game plan, it doesn't matter how much speed and power you got, you're going to get nailed. And if you go back to the Fury fight, the third fight of Fury, yeah, where they had a year to prepare to fight Fury for the third time. First round was fine. Second round was okay. But he forgot to use the jab, which jab into the body. And what happened? Wilder could not stick to the game plan. And he was blowing out his ass from round 2. So you've got a year to prepare against a guy that you want to take revenge on, and a guy you feel so badly against and you hate, but you run out of steam within 2 rounds. I mean, literally, he's blown out his ass after 2 rounds. And there was something saying he's too heavy. And then I've heard stories that Wilder doesn't want to run. Listen, I don't know why Malik Scott gets all this praise. I really don't. I don't see what he's significantly done with Wilder. He had a year to work with this man. A year. And they pull up like that against Tyson Fury. So those are two things already. The third problem that Deontay Wilder. The third problem Deontay Wilder's got is that he's fighting a big man. The man that weighs him was it was 80 pounds between the two of them, 70, 80 pounds between them. Yeah, but he's fought guys, big guys before. I'm talking about big guys that can fight. I'm talking about guys who have got Olympic pedigree. I'm not talking about guys who just run at him. I don't want to talk about guys that just run at Deontay Wilder. And there's no way under Zhang's camp, Zhang studies fighters, yeah? There's no way that Zhang is going to get overpowered by Deontay Wilder. It's not going to happen. But Deontay Wilder could run straight through. He's like a Mack truck. Could run straight through Deontay Wilder. And let's just remember, when Fury was backing Wilder up against the ropes, Wilder was not effective. Wilder has to use the bow and arrow. Why use the bow and arrow is where you pull the bow and arrow back, and if you're at the end, the tail end of a Wilder right hand, like if you land use full extension and extend that straight right hand down the pipe, oh yeah, he'll knock you over. He'll knock you over. But if you push Wilder back and you throw and you get like with Parker, back him up to the ropes, he leaves his chin in the air. He's got bad habits. He leaves his chin in the air. And when you actually back Wilder to the ropes, he's got no defense. I see something like Wilder's got a shoulder roll now. Wilder's shoulder rolling. Okay, Saturday night we'll see where that shoulder roll goes. Let me tell you something. Zhang sets traps, and the only way Zhang gets knocked out by Deontay Wilder is Zhang is stupid enough to stay on the outside. If he stands on the outside of Wilder, and lets Wilder hit him with that straight right hand, because that is Wilder's punch for this fight, yeah. That right hand straight down the pipe, that is his punch to win the fight. But with Malik's training and coaching, I don't know, man. I really think we could have had a great heavyweight in Deontay Wilder. But I just get these images of Zhang backing Wilder to the ropes, timing Wilder with one left hand. Not 10, not 15, one left hand. And Wilder just going straight for the ropes, literally, and not getting up. I just don't see how he takes that Zhang power. I just don't. I don't see him. I don't see him standing. It's like I don't see him standing up to that power. And Zhang is technically a better boxer than Wilder. He may just hit as hard as Wilder as well. That's the thing. Because in all the time that Wilder was throwing out punches against Parker, he never dropped Parker. But when Zhang got hit Parker, he knew about it. And I don't see 215 Wilder, and it's not a 215 Wilder like 10 years ago. It's a 215 or 216 or 218 Wilder that's been knocked out, not the stuffing out of. God knows what he's been doing behind closed doors. He certainly came for the last fight with his, and this other thing about, oh, we've got the real Wilder back. He's not the Incredible Hulk. There's some lines in boxing that I just don't believe in. A man can't suddenly not have hunger and then suddenly come back be hungry. Well, what happened? What changed? What, you can turn it on and off like that? All I know, the only thing that's getting turned on and turned off in this fight is if when Zhang lands that left hand down the pipe, it's good night Wilder. That is it. And it can happen very early as well. Because all Zhang has to do is maneuver Wilder to the ropes. That nullifies Wilder's punching power. Get him to walk into the, and it's not like Zhang cannot box. Zhang himself punches very hard. It's not the case of, oh, well, Zhang can't punch. Zhang can punch. Zhang is a world-class elite puncher. So he's about Wilder's punching power. He's got a guy who can hit just as hard as him and is more of a danger to him than he is a danger to Zhang. Because Zhang can box and he can punch and he can set traps. Whereas Wilder is nullified once you back him to the ropes. And when you back him to the ropes, he's got no defense. Wilder won't be pushing Zhang back. That's another thing. He won't be pushing Zhang back. And if he's trying to push Zhang back, he'll lose energy in that. So for me, I see Zhang trapping Wilder at some point against the ropes. And he's got them bad habits. And if he's going shoulder rolling as a heavyweight, good luck to him with that one. But I see Zhang actually poleaxing Wilder anything inside the first 4 rounds. And Wilder is never been a guy that's been compact with his shots. He always overextends and leaves himself in some very strange positions. The straight right hand for me is the key punch for Wilder. Wilder's got to keep Zhang at the end of that right hand and at no point in time allow Zhang to get anywhere close to him with that left hand or the right hook. You see how he dropped Joe Joyce. If Joe Joyce cannot significantly, I know Wilder is faster, yeah, or he was faster, but this is not the same Deontay Wilder of back in days where he fought Stavern the first time or second time. That Wilder is gone completely. And what you saw against Joseph Parker is a guy that's near the elite level, nullifying what Wilder does, getting him to the ropes and attacking him. It might not be what people want to hear, but these are the facts. But Wilder has to stick to a game plan. I haven't seen Wilder stick to a game plan since the best time I saw Wilder box was against Stavern the first time round. That's the best I've seen Wilder box. The most destructive I've seen Wilder is between either the second Stavern fight or what's this guy? The Brazil fight. As I said, Helenius came running at him. I don't know what Helenius. I don't know if Helenius wanted to get the last bus back home. I don't know, but that Helenius fight, I don't. No, he just came running at Wilder. I don't know why he came running at Wilder. Yeah. So, and the two fights of Luis Ortiz, I said the second fight when the rematch was on, everyone's hyping Luis Ortiz up. He's gonna beat Wilder. He looks better now, only because the guy got a haircut. Oh, he's looking better now. I said, listen, that guy can be ahead on points. Like Wilder land one right hand and the fight be over, and that's what happened. That won't happen against Zhang. Zhang is a good fighter. He's a quality fighter. So anybody expecting Wilder to just walk out there and knock Zhang out is not happening. I don't think it's happening. And the only way Zhang gets knocked out by Wilder is if he's stupid enough to leave himself at the end of Wilder's right hand. If he's stupid enough to do that, that's not going to happen. And I think that fight with Parker woke Zhang up. The only thing that could be an issue with Zhang is he's lost some weight. That can be a positive thing, yeah? But at his age, losing weight, you sometimes wonder if you just take a few pounds off, if that's going to affect your punch resistance. That's the only thing. So Wilder's technically fighting at bridgerweight if we're going to get new ruling. Yeah. So I think this is the end of Deontay Wilder. And to end my last statement, which I added on the actual videos, when a boxer starts talking about the R word, the retirement word, when you start talking about retirement, you've already got one foot outside the ring. So Wilder can do all that talking he wants, and he's this, and he's the captain, he's looking for the knockout. You want to be careful he does not get knocked out. Because to me, as soon as this fight was announced, I'm like, Zhang is going to railroad Wilder. He's going to railroad him. So he's going to railroad him. And I told people that Parker would beat Zhang. I said, no, Parker would beat Zhang. And Parker would beat Zhang, and he'd beat Wilder. But I tell you now, I just want to see the first left hand or right hook that lands on Wilder's chin from Zhang. You're going to see something you might never have seen before of Wilder. And them legs, you see them legs stand up to a Zhang left hand. And you look at me in the eye and tell me, no, listen, this could be the end of Deontay Wilder. Oh, and it was something that Eddie Hearn said that was very interesting. He said that he was saying how Deontay Wilder wasn't very good, but he was worried about every time Wilder was rendering people unconscious. It's interesting that Eddie Hearn's saying that now. It makes you wonder, just for a second, is it possible that Hearn signed Wilder so that he never, ever has to face Anthony Joshua? Think about that for a second. it's not like he hasn't done it before. I mean, he signed Luis Ortiz so that Joshua didn't have to face him. You remember that? Well, kind of signed Luis Ortiz to do what? Fight Dave Allen and Malik Scott. Really? At the time, Luis Ortiz was the WBA #1. I believe he was coming up to challenge Joshua for the title. And they sidestepped that match by getting Luis Ortiz to fight those two fights while Joshua was still doing his business. So, just something to think about there. Sign Wilder for this fight here. Hope he gets smashed to bits by Zhang, so then he doesn't have to fight Joshua. And then Joshua can say, why does anyone want to see that fight? He just got smashed by Zhang. Why do I need to fight him and knock him out? What do I have to prove? Do you understand? They might then angle it for Zhang to fight Joshua instead. Anything's possible in boxing, but that's kind of what I think about this. Anyway, I'm going by Zhang by brutal knockout. Anything inside the first 4 rounds. And if it's going to happen, it's Wilder against the ropes. Zhang backing Wilder against the ropes and zinging that left hand in. And if Zhang's going to get knocked out by Wilder, it's because he's standing too far. He's giving Wilder too much distance for him to land that right hand. That being said, that right hand is the key for Wilder to knock Zhang out. Straight right hand down the pipe. He throws one of the best straight right hands I've seen. But it's consistency. How often would he get the opportunity to throw that right hand? And with the pressure also being captain as well, how does that work? Does that work for Deontay Wilder, who's a very emotional man, or not? So, just my thoughts there. Don't forget, as always, to rate, subscribe, share this video, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much.